Alright guys, real quick, last two pill that I have out of this lot is pending sold to a local. If it doesn't sell today, I'll move it on down the road and let somebody else have a shot at it. Figured I'd drive it with something different than using the Unidens and stuff like that to drive, and I've got my old trusty Connex here. As you can see, it's got the nitro knobs on it. This radio was done up a long time ago. First export I had, and I think I got it almost 20 years ago. So it does pretty good. It's a dual final radio. Now exports drive a little bit different. What I notice sometimes the Unidens and Cobras, the peak power or whatever is a little better, and then the average power on these is a little better. But of course, this is a two pill 2879C, so really we should be running it at 15 volts, 15 and a half volts to see maximum output power out of it. Output on these can vary. It just depends on the gain of the transistor. So some of these I've got in will do really good at 14.5 volts, and then some of them they really just take off at 15 volts. I mean, they'll gain like 75 to 100 watts just going to 15 volts. So really just depends. But we're going to drive this one, see what it does. I've had a few of these last couple days. Drove one with a Uniden 76, drove one with a 66. I think they were doing around 120 average and upper 300s, low 400s peak. But we'll drive it with this Connex and see what we get here. Again, really we should be hitting this with a minimum of 15 volts, and we would really see this thing come alive. But because I also sell amps with standard HGs in them, I stay around 14 and a half. So that being said, we've got the Connex here, we've got the two pill. This thing's forcing a good bit of air out, and we'll just do the video here. And again, if the local doesn't take it, it'll be up for sale. First come, first serve. It's the last one I have out of this batch. I will be getting some more in. Also, a reminder, I do have transistors in now. So if you buy an amp and you want a spare set of transistors, never a bad idea to go ahead and buy another match set, just in case something happens. Anyway, two pill fat boy, here we go. 1000 watt slug. Our peak kit is turned off. Now I've got the RF power on low on the radio. Shouldn't make a huge difference, but we'll test it and see. So this is a 1000 watt slug. Bottom scale, we'll go ahead and key up. RF power on the radios on low. Audio. So 140, 150 average, ballpark on low. Now we'll just turn the RF power on high, see if it makes a difference on average output. Audio. So that actually brought it up some. Definitely looking at 150 to 160 or so, 155 on high there. So now we're just going to go to peak. Now that was average power. So this amp is actually showing a little more average than the last two I hooked up. Maybe it's because of radio, and it might be the amp. That's another thing I will say on some of these amps. I'll get some in that will do a little more average power, and then they'll do less peak. And then I'll get some in that'll do more peak power, and then they'll do a little less average. It really just depends. And I think, again, that's just the nature of the transistor, having more gain or less gain or whatever. But before the video ends, I'll go over here to the power supply and show you what this thing's drawing. But anyway, back to the meter. We are on peak now. We're still looking at a 1000 watt slug, bottom scale. RF power's on high. Audio, 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 audio. So about 350 there. So we'll just come over here, turn it on low. Not that it's probably going to make a difference. And we'll just say audio, 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 audio. So call that 340, 350-ish, whatever you want to call it. That's what she's doing. Come over here to the amp meter. Now we'll just throw the RF power on high just for kicks here. And actually, we'll see what we're dead keying with it on high. So what we got there? 40 watts, 50-ish watts, 40-ish, 50-ish is what we're keying. We'll come over here and key up. So 18 watts on the key, or 18 watts, 18 amps. Audio drawing 32. Now our voltmeter is going up to 15. If I had a load tester on here, or put my fluke meter on here, you'd see that's really not going up to 15. It's actually just getting a little bit of RF in it. Those amp meter, voltmeters are real susceptible to RF, especially the volts. But if you put a load tester on this thing, you're going to notice that it doesn't drop up at all. It doesn't jump up at all. Excuse me. But just again, show you what it's drawing. Audio, 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 audio. 30 amps easily. And again, that could be a little off. I don't necessarily always trust the voltmeter and amp meter over there, because like I said, you see that it's going up half a volt when that thing's really not going up at all. So that amp meter could be off a little bit. You know, we could be drawing 30 amps, 29 amps, something like that. But I would highly recommend a 30 amp power supply minimum. If you want to see this thing get up and do more, 15 volts, 15 and a half volts. I've actually seen one of these do 500 just driving it with a radio like this at about 15 and a half. So the 2879Cs will get up and go. They just need a little bit of voltage to get them encouraged there. Okay, if the local doesn't take this one, it's up for sale to somebody. No problem. I'll give him today to get it, and if he doesn't, then we will move on to the next person. Again, about 350 or so peak on this one, and was actually showing, 155, 160 average. So a little more average than the last two, a little less peak. Call it what you will. You see what it's drawing there, so it's getting the job done. All the power is getting out, whether it's average, peak, whatever, but I think it's doing what it should. Brand new Fat Boy 2-pill 2879C. More to come. Catch you guys out there. Rooster in Tennessee. Questions, comments, let me know. Shoot me a text. 423-299-3535. See you, bye.